Alright, I am live. Um, I'm going to try to bounce something off the heads of people. Okay. Throughout my lifetime, I have lived in low income housing. Okay. I have lived in communities where you go to an office, you sign up for a house, and this is how I believe HUD works. Okay, you go into an office, you sign up for a house or an apartment. If the housing and the apartment are available, you can move right in. If not, you get put on a waiting list until something is available. My question is, why can't we do this to a struggling city like Detroit? The government or HUD would buy Detroit. Okay? Because they're bankrupt. HUD would buy Detroit. Clear everybody out that's whatever. Okay? Or, you could be grandfathered in if you have not committed a crime. Okay? And what you would do, because I've seen many of these communities, many of these HUD communities, like I lived in Tennessee, and there was a community of houses that lined the street. Everybody had to go through an application process to enter one of these houses. Why couldn't that be done with a city like Detroit? Detroit's already bankrupt. Okay, what would happen in that situation is that there would be a total clearing out of the houses and stuff, rebuilding of houses in Detroit, the ones that are abandoned. Okay, you build these houses back up with high rises or whatever. But the catch is you don't go in and start buying houses. You have to go through an application process. Okay? To get a house, you have to go through an application process. You have to be low income housed to get one of these houses. Okay, you go in, there'll be an office. As soon as you enter Detroit, there'll be an office. You go into this office, something like Habitat for Humanities. You fill out an application. In your application, you cannot be convicted of a gun crime, a child abuse crime, or anything. You must be almost pure. No gang affiliations, no nothing. Get people in houses that don't have it. Basically, people that get along with each other. People who want to work. Okay, then what you do after that is take some of these businesses that are ran down. HUD goes through, fixes them up. You start, like you'd have a grocery store, you'd have a gas station, you'd have a clothing store, you would have a whatever. Okay? Maybe there's somebody with a trade in the community for a funeral director. You could put somebody in a funeral home, let's say. You could put some people in retail stores. Okay? They have to report ever so often their income. There would be a city board in this community made up of the residents. The residents would vote. It wouldn't be some high politician, but someone that would know, sort of like you do in your little communities. I've been in like little high-rise communities where they have a board that sits on, that oversees the building, besides the landlord and whatnot. They have little council meetings. Okay, you'd have people like that, and maybe what could happen is these little councils, you can have these within the neighborhoods, and each council will represent each person. Each neighborhood would have their own little council, and they could have little council meetings. And then what would happen is that the council would then the council leaders of these different communities would go to the bigger board and meet, and that would be your town board or whatever. Your town whatever. That's what I see as a sanctuary city. A sanctuary city to where it's going to be safe. You're going to have police officers. And even, you can have police officers who would come from outside agencies to patrol the city. But my main thing is safety. If you have been convicted of a crime, you cannot take up residence in this city. Just like they do with housing. But I think in housing, we need to do a better job at patrolling the houses. And what would happen is, if you're convicted, if someone complains, and there would be a thorough investigation, because not everybody's going to get along, but if there is a complaint that somebody is broken into somebody's house who lives in one of these houses, they forfeit their house. They get kicked out of the community. I don't know. But you could try it on a smaller scale. That if I ever won the lottery, that's what I would do. I would get like 1,000 acres of land. I would start building houses on the land. I would have like low-income houses on this land, set up a grocery store, set up a church, set up a funeral home, set up whatever I needed to set up, and hire people, not your average Joes, but people who are down on hard times, and let them get a job. That's just my way of going at things. But if you could do that with Detroit, because, I don't know, it would be so awesome, wouldn't it? Leave your comments below if that made any sense. If you're part of a community of low-income housing and you have any thoughts on that, let me know.